Want to speak real Swahili from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at swahilipod101.com.
10 questions you should know. Welcome and have fun. Jina lako ni nani? Jina lako ni nani? What's your name? To answer that, you'll say, Jina langu ni Medina. If you're Juma, you'll say, Jina langu ni Juma. My name is Juma. Uhali gani? Uhali gani? How are you? To answer that, you'll say, Njema, I'm fine. Or fine. Uhali gani fine, I'm fine. Ulizaliwa wapi? Ulizaliwa wapi? Where are you from? To answer that, I'll give the name of my country. Kenya. Ulizaliwa wapi? Kenya. If you're born in the United States, you'll say, America. Ulizaliwa wapi? America. Siku yako ya kuzaliwa ni lini? Siku yako ya kuzaliwa ni lini? When is your birthday? To answer that, you'll say, siku yangu ya kuzaliwa ni Aprili tarehe 3. My birthday is April 3rd. Unaishi wapi? Unaishi wapi? Where do you live? Ninaishi Nairobi. I live in Nairobi. Nairobi is quite a big place. Actually, it's a province in itself. So you won't say you're living in the whole Nairobi. We have to be specific. So if you live in Langata, you will say, Ninaishi Langata. That is when we will assume you're in Nairobi and you're talking within people in Nairobi. They'll understand where Langata is. But if you're out of Nairobi, you'll say, Naishi Nairobi Langata, to just be specific. Unafanya kazi wapi? Unafanya kazi wapi? Where do you work? To answer this, you'll say, Jijini Mombasa. Again, Jijini Mombasa. Mombasa is the name of the place. Jijini means town. So if you're working in Kisumu, you'll say, Jijini Kisumu. Just to be specific. I work in Mombasa. I work in Kisumu. Ulijifunza wapi Kiswahili? Ulijifunza wapi Kiswahili? Where did you learn Swahili? For that, you can answer by saying, katika swahilipod101.com. From swahilipod101.com. Je, unapenda chakula cha Kenya? Je, unapenda chakula cha Kenya? Do you like Kenyan food? To answer that, you will say, Ndio, napenda. Yes, I love it. Yes, I like Kenyan food. In Kenya, we have varieties of food, and I'm sure you like it. The most staple food in Kenya is ugali. Ugali is like cornbread. It's made from white flour, white corn flour. It's not very hard. Something like rice, but in the flour form, but cooked. You don't eat the flour, it's cooked. So it's cornbread. Now you eat cornbread with different kinds of stews. You can eat it with bean stew, beef stew, name any kind of stew. And then we also have vegetables. I'm sure you'll like it. Try it out. Umeshawahi kuwa Kenya? Umeshawahi kuwa Kenya? Have you been to Kenya? You can answer this by saying, Hapana, ni mara yangu ya kwanza. No, it's my first time. This is a very common question to tourists who visit Kenya. So be prepared. And it will really sound cool if you can answer in Swahili. Hapana, ni mara yangu ya kwanza. Hii unauza pesa ngapi? Hii unauza pesa ngapi? How much is this? To answer that, you can say, shilingi 10 za Kenya. 10 is the price. So you can keep changing that and say, shilingi 50 za Kenya. 50 shillings, Kenya shillings. This will be a very useful phrase to use when you're going shopping. Of course, I'm sure you're going to buy souvenirs for your family members back in your country. So having this word on your fingertips will be very useful.
Tafadali, naomba ujue umenikanyaga. Oh, mimi? Ndio, kwa vidole za mguu. Pole sana.
Want to speak real Swahili from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at SwahiliPod101.com.
Do you know how to say thank you in Swahili? In this lesson, you'll learn 3 different ways to say it. Let's start with the easiest one.
Asante. Asante.
Another way to say thank you is
Nashukuru. Nashukuru.
Finally, here's a third way to express your gratitude.
Asanteni. Asanteni.
Okay, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned.
Asante. Asante. Nashukuru. Nashukuru. Asanteni. Asanteni.
Well done! You just learned 3 different ways to say thank you in Swahili.
Do you know how to say I love you in Swahili? In this lesson, you'll learn 3 different ways to say it. Let's start with how to express your feelings to your loved one.
Nakupenda. Nakupenda. Nakupenda.
Or if you want to explain those butterflies in your stomach, you can say
Nimekupenda. Nimekupenda. Nimekupenda.
And when you feel that I love you is not enough, you can say
Maneno hayawezi kueleza upendo wangu kwako. Maneno hayawezi kueleza upendo wangu kwako. Maneno hayawezi kueleza upendo wangu kwako.
You just learned 3 different ways to say I love you in Swahili.
Top 25 phrases in Swahili. Let's have fun. Jambo. Hello. Okay, the first phrase is Jambo. Hello. Jambo. Jambo is one of the most simple greetings in Kenya. Anyone can use it at any time. In fact, we love using it with tourists. Please visit Kenya and just say Jambo. Habariza asubuhi. Good morning. Okay, the next phrase is Habariza asubuhi. Good morning. Habariza asubuhi. We often wake up tired sometimes in the morning, but it doesn't cost to say Habariza asubuhi. Good morning. Habariza mchana. Good afternoon. The next phrase is Habariza mchana. Good afternoon. Habariza mchana. You know, in the afternoon when you meet someone, you're like, oh, Habariza mchana. Habari means news. So you're trying to ask someone, okay, how is your afternoon? Tell me anything that is happening in your afternoon. Usiku mwema. Good night. Usiku mwema. Good night. Usiku mwema. Good night. Yes, it's time to sleep. I sometimes look forward to that time. And, you know, I look forward to saying good night to my friends or to my family or to my whatever person who is there. Jina lako nani? What's your name? Jina lako nani? What's your name? Jina lako nani? It's an obvious question whenever we meet with people, especially when you want to know who they are. It's polite to know someone's name, right? Do you like being called by your name? Yeah, that's why this phrase is very important. Jina lako nani? Mimi naitwa Mimi naitwa Medina. My name is Medina. Mimi naitwa Medina. Now, this is actually an answer to the previous question, jina lako nani, what's your name? Now, you have to keep this in mind that, if you use this word frequently, you'll be able to tell people about your name. You'll be able to tell people your name. Nina furaha kukutana na wewe. Nice to meet you. Nina furaha kukutana na wewe. Nice to meet you. Nina furaha kukutana na wewe. Nice to meet you. I mean, it's really polite. I always feel like energized when someone says, nice to meet you. It can be awkward when someone says, oh, I did not want to meet you, but we rarely hear that. Just use that word, nice to meet you. Habarigani. How are you? Habarigani. How are you? Habari in Swahili means news. And gani means what? So what news? Actually, what you're trying to ask here is like, what do you have? I mean, what is all about your life right now in a polite way, Then someone will say, mzuri, or it's okay. They will not go on telling you whatever is happening all around, but, they'll just say it's fine or not good, So it's an important phrase. Niko salama, asante, na wewe? I am fine, thanks. And you? Niko salama, asante. Fine, thanks. And you? Niko salama, asante means, oh, I'm fine. Literally, that is what it means. I'm fine, thank you. Then you take it back. What about you? You are concerned about the person who is asking you, If you just say, oh, I'm fine, thanks, then you keep quiet, I mean, we do that sometimes, but, sometimes you want to show concern, so you ask, na wewe, and you? Tafadali, please. Tafadali, please. It's a magic word all around the world. So tafadali is one of those words that you want to embrace when you visit Kenya. Tafadali, whenever you're asking a favor, just say tafadali. Excuse me, tafadali, tafadali. That's one great word you need to remember. Asante, thank you. Asante, thank you. It's also one of the magic words that relates to tafadali, please. Asante is like you're appreciating whatever favor you received from someone who did you a favor. So it's also one of those words you like to embrace whenever and wherever. Caribou, you're welcome. Caribou, you're welcome. Caribou. Caribou is one of the most common words used in Kenya. For example, when someone knocks your door, you'll say, oh, Caribou. That means come in, or welcome, actually. Then, in some circumstance when someone gives you something, you'll say thank you, right? Now, the person who is giving, you will say Caribou. Caribou means welcome. So it can be a joke, but you know what? You can go and ask them, or you can go and ask as many favors as you can, because they said Caribou. I mean, that's a joke. You don't have to take it seriously, though. Dio, yes. Dio, yes. Dio. Dio is a response. Whenever someone asks a question, you can say Dio if it's a positive answer, to the question. It depends. There are the yes-no questions. Yeah, that is where it lies. Dio. Umefika Kenya? Dio. Umekula chakula? Dio. Umefika Kenya means, have you arrived in Kenya? You'll say yes, which is Dio. Have you eaten food? Umekula chakula? You'll say Dio, yes. Hapana, no. Hapana, no. Hapana. Hapana is an answer to the yes-no question, just like Dio. Dio means yes, as we looked at it previously. Now here it's no. Umefika Kenya? Hapana. Have you arrived in Kenya? No. Umekula chakula? Have you eaten food? No. Hapana. Sawa. Okay. Sawa. Okay. Sawa. Okay. Sawa. Sawa is used to acknowledge that you agree to whatever has been said. For example, you can say, Sawa, nimeelewa maelezo yako. Okay, I've understood the explanation. Niwie radhi. Excuse me. Niwie radhi. Excuse me. Niwie radhi. This is a very handy word, especially when you want someone to excuse you for something. Niwie radhi. Naweza angalia mzigo wako? Excuse me, can I check your bag? Samahani, I'm sorry. Samahani, I am sorry. Samahani. Samahani is also one of those polite words that you really need to remember. It comes handy when you make a mistake. Samahani, nimechelewa. I'm very sorry that I'm late. Nisangapi. What time is it? Nisangapi. What time is it? Nisangapi. Of course, you'll want to know time. If you cannot see the time, probably there's no wall clock around, or perhaps your phone is off to check, or perhaps you forgot your wristwatch. You'll ask your friend, Nisangapi? Msalani ni wapi? Where is the restroom? Msalani ni wapi? Where is the restroom? Msalani ni wapi? Now, for real, you may need this word really, especially if nature keeps calling on you. You know, you may want to ask, hey, Tafadali, msalani ni wapi? Excuse me, where is the restroom? Subiri kidogo. Wait a moment. Subiri kidogo. Wait a moment. Subiri kidogo. When you're caught up doing something and someone asks for a favor, you may use this word. Just a moment. Subiri kidogo. Bei ya hii ni nini? How much is this? Bei ya hii ni nini? How much is this? Bei ya hii ni nini? How much is this? Bei ya hii ni nini? Now, he there stands for the thing that you want to buy. For example, you can say, Bei ya hii nguo ni nini? How much is this dress? Saidia, help. Saidia, help. Saidia. Saidia! Imagine you're drowning. What will you do? You'll shout, Saidia! Help! When you're in trouble, this word comes in handy. I think you may want to use it. Tuonane baadaye. See you later. Tuonane baadaye. See you later. Tuonane baadaye. After you meet with your friend, you have a chat with her or him, you'll definitely say, bye, see you later, when you're parting. I think it's also one of those polite words that you may want to add to your list. Kwaheri, goodbye. Kwaheri, goodbye. Kwaheri, goodbye. Kwaheri. Now, kwaheri reminds me of those toughest moments in my life, when I went abroad to study and my family was back in my country. The toughest moments was when we were parting. I will never want to say kwaheri. I will never want to say goodbye. I will never even want to utter it out, but I will just say it with tears rolling down my cheeks. Yeah, kwaheri. It's a good word to use whenever you're parting. Sijui, I don't know. Sijui, I don't know. Sijui. This is a word that you'll use when you acknowledge that for sure you're not sure about the answer to the question or to the situation that is happening at the moment. Some people think it's impolite to say sijui, especially when you're asking for directions. They'll try to give you information which might be wrong to show that they are polite. So you got to be careful.
If you want to learn a language but don't have a lot of time to dedicate to the endeavor, you need to study as efficiently as possible. You probably aren't a language learning expert or a world traveler. You might have school or a job or two. So in this video, we'll give you 3 ways to help you learn language more efficiently so that you get the most out of your time and effort. Number 1, use your time when you have it. The most valuable resource you have as a language learner is time. While you may not have to spend money to learn a language, you will have to spend time. Hours and minutes are a currency that you trade on a weekly basis to grow in your language learning. Language learning is probably a priority for you. It might not be the number 1 priority, like keeping your job or taking care of your family, but it does have to be important enough for you to invest significant amounts of time into your learning. There's just no way around it. That being said, use your time wisely. Because of previous commitments, you can quickly fall into the trap of putting your language learning off, thinking, oh, I'll do it next week, or Saturday, I'll do it Saturday. Needless to say, a few weeks can go by and you haven't really learned or practiced anything. If you find that happening, then take some time and reevaluate your approach. It's probably a long shot for you to be able to spend hours every day learning a new foreign language, but you can use your time to spend an hour or even just 10 minutes a day, every day, studying or practicing. If you're on a busy schedule, an hour a day can sound like reaching for the stars, so start slowly with just a 5-minute lesson. Over time, as you learn more and it becomes more routine, you'll want to spend more time studying. And your studying doesn't even need to be all at once. Make use of the little gaps of time you have in the day. Listen to a podcast while driving to and from work. Review new words while on lunch break or right before bed. Even a quick review while in line at the store or waiting for the bus. Together, these moments add up. This way, your little study session will add up to around 60 minutes of practice every day. You'll quickly be able to see significant improvement in your language abilities. Number 2, don't method jump. When you're new to language learning, there's a temptation to try out the newest course, app, or method. There are more language learning tools and courses than I can list. But jumping around from podcast to podcast or from textbook to textbook can really hinder your learning process. It's important to find the best method for you, but when you do, stick with it. Don't get distracted by the newest app, or if you suddenly find something faster, cheaper, claiming it can teach you a language with no work on your part. Stick with your learning course or tool. Consistent practice over a period of time is what is essential for language learning. If you hit a bump or plateau, you might be tempted to think, maybe there's a faster or better way to learn. So you search around and buy the next best language learning tool, only to use it for a couple weeks and realize it wasn't really any better than the last course you tried, and the same difficulties you had are still there. If you're learning your first new language and you pick a specific method or course, we suggest you stick with it for at least 3 to 4 months. You actually hurt yourself in the long run if you constantly switch between resources because you never give yourself the opportunity to progress. Number 3, focus on one thing at a time. When you decide to learn a new language, you're going to be really excited. You have all your resources lined up, a plan in place, and you're ready to go. You think you'll spend 3 to 4 hours a day practicing and that you'll be fluent in no time, but that's only for about 3 days. Then you probably will get a little bit discouraged and avoid it for another 3 days. And this process might repeat 3 or 4 times before you realize that you might be approaching things the wrong way. You can't devour a whole new language in a very short time. You'll burn out immediately. It's better to focus on one small part of the language at a time, either a specific grammar point or a specific vocabulary topic. In the beginning, these should be based on the parts of the language you'll use right away. Even in the business world, research shows that replacing less important tasks with ones that add value and help you reach your goals is the best way to get the most out of your time. As you advance through the language and your level increases, try to pinpoint the harder aspects of the language and work on them one at a time. Learning a foreign language isn't easy. It takes time and work, but it is possible. If you stick to your learning plans and stay focused, you will see improvement in your skills and find satisfaction in using the language. Remember that learning a language is really more like a journey. It doesn't have to feel like school or work. Savor your experience with learning and enjoy every step along the way. And for even more tips on learning efficiently, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.